can add it in the function depth move only. You can add input from please input from which you have moved. Very optional.
Yeah, we can do that, but since it is only one loop remaining, then we can do directly in loop. Okay, and this is the crust of procedural programming. Okay, procedural programming, you will run a infinite loop, and in that you will try to um, handle every state or whatever you can encounter. Okay, so yeah, from here we can realize the need of object oriented programming also. Okay, why? What is the problem with this kind of approach, procedural approach?
Kind of the
Let's say I have to now play this game with level 7.
the program has to go through everything, every single step. In an object oriented, only what is needed is called. So the
No,
kind of
let's say I'm playing on the level 0 and I want to go to level 7 directly. Okay. Okay. Then whole loop should complete, and then you will assign level 7 again, and then it will come to level 7, right? And how you will break the loop or go into next event? If it is in already in loop, then how you will break that loop and go into an event?
like we need to use the while loop itself. Like we will put a condition if next, like the user type next, then the new level comes. But
You have to continuously track all the events, all the keystrokes, all the mouse strokes. Okay, and whenever there is any change, then you have to go into that state, whatever it is, it requires. Okay, let's say if I am pressing the N key, then it should go to, but you have to continuously listen to all the output. Okay, all the events. Sorry, you have to continuously listen to all the events. Okay, and one more problem which will be there. Hmm?
no verification of data.
Why?
The data is in a single in a single program that all the data is there. So there is no concept for like for example, suppose you defined a variable to do a particular task. Now, if it is in a local scope, then it will be erased after its use. However, in procedural, it is usually not a local scope, so it will stay there till the end of the execution. In objects, for example, if you have a function, you're calling on an object, then if there is any particular local variable, then it is erased as soon as the object is converted.
No, that you can do in procedural also. No, what is the issue in that? You can just define n number of list or n number of dictionary, and you can just store it.
Suppose you define the list in procedural programming. So, and then later, so if you define the list, then that list will be there even if the work of the list is done.
Okay,
Right.
memory management you are saying.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you want any more improvements like checking whether the number of balls are more than 4 or something, you can write a if condition and like
And Bhaiya, what about that red ball can't go on the blue ball?
like you just have to put conditions before moving it.
And if the list is empty, you can put another condition like it cannot read.
We just have to like list out all those conditions and write it in if statement.
भैया हमको ऐसे प्रोग्राम नहीं करते थे, जब तक सॉर्ट नहीं हो गया तब तक ये वैल्यू नहीं
Like just don't ask that input if you want to continue or not. Just if it's completed, then
You have to go to next level. Simple. Okay. Now, some problem with the procedural is obviously we have to it is not memory efficient. Okay, you don't have any control on the memory. Okay, but if you are making an object, okay, then it is yeah, it can manage its functions and scope and also the memory location. Okay, okay. that is called encapsulation. Everything is in one place. Okay. Second is you will get like it is very intuitive. For example, if I will show only this code, okay, if I'll show only this code, then visualization will be little bit difficult for you guys. Okay, but I showed you first that game. Then now when you are visualizing, you can see, okay, B means a ball which is moving from here to there. Okay, and that we can achieve in a program using okay, object oriented programming. We can declare every element as a object. Okay, so basically we can make one. So to declare a class, you have to make class, and then let's say for like we can take example of this also. We can make a class tube. Okay, and in this we can put whatever data it has, like balls or uh, its functions like move or check. Okay, all these things we can put inside this. Um, okay, for a class, you can also declare a constructor. Constructor basically when you will call the class, that time what you have to initialize. Okay, so here like ball para, we are like taking the argument and then storing it into instance of this tube. For example, if we will create one tube one, tube of, then we have to give balls para. Okay, so let's say I am making this tube one with R R B B. Okay, so this is tube is not defined. Oh, I didn't run. Okay, so now this is one object now. If I'll check the type of this tube, what it should be?
Right.
This.
Oh, sorry, that is tube one. I just okay. Tube one is main dot tube. Okay, this is type is so type is tube. Why? Because we declared the class tube. Okay. And when I was printing this, it was basically given returning the memory location of it. Okay. In this memory location, it created a instance, and there it stored these values. Okay. So yeah, this is class. Class means
Blueprint or template.
yeah, blueprint or template. Okay, how to store all these things in memory? Okay, how? If you are defining this class, it is not like uh, taking space in memory yet. Okay, when you will call that class and make a instance, so tube one is instance of tube. Okay, like this you can take you can make tube 2 also, and in that you can store different balls. Okay, okay. कौन सा function? क्लास के अंदर ये फंक्शन कंस्ट्रक्टर का. ओके, सो दिस इज बाय डिफॉल्ट सम by default some functions are there. Okay, which are declared by Python. Okay, like init, repr, and then str. हाँ, वो बेसिकली उसको यूनिक बनाने के लिए, जिससे कि किसी और के साथ क्लैश ना हो. ओके, to make it unique. So this is from the convention of Python. Okay, so underscore underscore init underscore is always constructor of a class. Okay, underscore underscore rep is always a like what you want to represent. Okay, for example, if I'll say def underscore underscore rep, and this self is by like it is by convention first one is object. Okay. uh it is not always required, but if you want to store anything in the instance, then you have to do this. Okay, you can initialize a function without this self also, but then you will not able to pass the instance itself. Okay.
What is REPR?
Sorry.
REPR, what is it?
Yeah, REPR is representation function.
Any, like, where will we use this?
Yeah, that I'm okay. So let's say in representation I can put print, or let's say I can say for I in self dot ball. Okay, I am printing I. Okay, this is now when I will say tube 1, it will say this, and when I will print tube 1, uh, wait a second.
It was self key offline with value.
Huh?
You will not pass in value.
एक second. Okay, so str whenever print is called. Okay, and here also if in this Google Colab, when you are just putting the variable, it is basically calling the print only. Okay, so when just imagine it, someone also wrote the code of Python. Okay, okay, so he defined the print statement like this: whatever is the str class of str function of that class, it will call it. Okay, and by default str function was to return the memory location. Okay, by default it was to return the memory location, but now I override that str. Okay, now it will, whenever I will call print, it will call this function, this function. So whatever I will written here, it will call that. Okay,